left to be slaughtered, but humanity sent its strongest to save them. Asterisk, the sky outside Helix Prime was black, not the peaceful black of deep space, but something heavier. A silence that pressed against the windows like a held breath. No stars. No ships. Nothing moved, except the enemy. The Nyx horde had arrived 3 days ago. Their ships didn't speak, didn't answer, didn't explain. They just came and began circling the station like hungry predators. Commander. Elara Miles stood at the observation deck of Helix Prime's control tower. Her fingers gripped the railing. Below her, the station's outer rings flickered as emergency lights cycled on and off. Red, orange, dark. She hated the silence. The communications array had been the first thing they lost. The Nyx fired a precise, silent blast that cut the station's ability to speak to the rest of the galaxy. No one could hear them scream. Elara. A soft voice said behind her. She turned. Cato Lynn, barely 20, holding a small datapad close to his chest like a shield. His black hair was a mess, eyes wide with something between fear and hope. I picked up something. She blinked. Picked up what? We've got no antenna left, Cato. Not from our coms, he said, from the old line, the Morse channel. She frowned. The what? He stepped closer, lowered his voice. The one Earth used 100 years ago for deep space failsafe. Quantum vibration, sub-resonant pulses. The line they said no one uses anymore. And Cato handed her the pad. It showed a single, blinking word. Over and over, Kamingalara stared at it for a long time. Her heartbeat slowed, then sped up. This isn't a joke, she asked. He shook his head. Who? I don't know, Cato whispered. But they're listening, and they heard us. Far above, in the cold space just outside Helix Prime's sensor range, the Nyx ships drifted in formation.
100
black vessels, each shaped like a broken fang, circling the station with slow, deliberate motion. No communication. No demand for surrender. Just pressure inside Helix. Most of the 1,200 people had gone underground. Families, scientists, technicians. They waited in storage bays and old cargo tunnels. There were no weapons. Helix Prime wasn't a military base, it was a science station, and now a cage. Elara walked back to Central Command. The lights flickered again. Another subsystem offline. Power's failing on Ring C, said Mira, the lead technician. Airflow's dropping. If the vents fail, we lose oxygen in 2 hours. Cycle backup cells, Elara replied quickly. We've already tried that. Elara looked around the command deck. Tired faces, silent eyes, fear that had nowhere to go. 3 days without sleep? 3 days of waiting for death? She couldn't let them see her afraid. Cato, she called. Try again. Whoever sent that signal, send something back. What should I say? He asked. Anything, everything. Coordinate status, just make sure they know we're still here. He nodded and ran back to his console. The ground shook. Everyone froze. Soft hum rose beneath their feet. Then a low, distant boom, Elara Mira said quietly. That was the outer hull. Damage report. No breach yet. But it's close. Elara closed her eyes for a second. Just one. Then opened them again. Cato, she said. Still. No reply, he said. Just that one word again. Coming. Suddenly, every screen in the control deck blinked, then turned dark. Not an explosion, not a power loss. A total system wipe. Cato, what did you do? Nothing, he said. It's them. They're jamming everything. Then something moved in the corner of the screen. Faint blip dot a ship, Cato gasped. Something's entering orbit. Mira leaned over his console. Is that one of theirs? He said, It's too small. They stared at the single reading. One ship tiny, slipping through the blackout. Elara narrowed her eyes. Human. Cato checked the signal. His face turned pale. Not just human. Earthfleet ID. But it's not in any registry. What? The blip moved again. Faster, it vanished from the sensors, then reappeared behind one of the Nyx. Destroyers? Where did it go? Myra asked. I think it's cloaked. Another blip. Then two Nyx destroyers flared with internal explosions. Kato's mouth dropped open. It's attacking them. But it's just one ship, Mira whispered. Ilara stepped forward, her heart pounding. No, she said. It's not just one ship. She looked at the screen, blinking with static, and felt something rise in her chest. Something that had been gone for days. Hope. The room was silent again. This time, the silence wasn't theirs. It belonged to the Nyx. Captain Riker Cade sat alone in the command chair of the Valiant. The lights inside the ship were dim, the metal around him silent, except for the soft hum of systems running deep under the floor. No alarms, no loud chatter, just silence, the kind you only hear before a storm. The Nyx didn't know he was here. Not yet. He leaned forward, eyes focused on the holographic display in front of him. Red dots swirled across the screen. Over. 100 enemy ships, all locked around Helix Prime like a steel trap. In the middle, a single blinking blue point, the station. And scattered around it, black zones where Nyx jammers blocked signals and sensors. But Riker saw through it. He always had. Status, he said, his voice low. His second in command, Zara Holt, tapped a few controls. Stealth systems green. Shadow drive holding. Our signal footprint is 0. Their scanner's still blind. They don't know we're even real. Riker nodded once. Good. The crew of the Valiant was small, just 40 people. Every one of them was picked from Earth's black programs, trained for missions where failure meant death, and where survival often meant vanishing forever. No. One outside high command even knew this ship still existed, not even the rest of Earth. It had taken Earth decades to build the Valiant. It used stolen tech from dead alien empires, wrapped it in human engineering, then buried the whole thing under a classified label and said nothing more. Riker had captained it once. Long ago, then after one mission went wrong, he was pulled from command and silenced. Until now, are we in range of the command carrier? Riker asked. Zara checked again. Yes, but just barely. Recommend we stay cloaked. They've got field disruptors across their line. We won't fire, he said. Not yet. He leaned back in the chair. The ship was quiet, almost too quiet. He missed the sound of old engines, ships that roared like beasts. The Valiant moved like a whisper. Fast, cold, deadly. He tapped a switch and opened a direct line to engineering. Voss, he said, is the spike charge ready? A gruff voice came through. Loaded and humming. I can fire the pulse any time, but it'll light us up. Just one shot, Riker said. Then we vanish again. Aye, sir. He closed the channel. The plan was insane. That was why it would work. He wasn't here to win a war. He was here to make them bleed, just enough for Helix to live. Show me their command signals, Riker said. Zara flicked her fingers over the display. Thin red lines connected 10 of the largest Nyx ships' command carriers and shield nodes. Cut. These, Riker said, pointing. And their formation breaks. They'll lose coordination. Zara stared. You want to strike the nerve? Riker smiled slightly. Make it scream. She nodded. Can plant spike beacons and turn their own sensors against them. We hit fast, then fold away. Perfect. The silence stretched again. Zara looked at him. Do you think we can hold them off long enough? Riker didn't answer right away. His eyes were still locked on the display. Then he said, We're not here to hold them off. She blinked. We're here to scare them. Just then the alert light blinked. Ping from the station, Zara said. The kid did it again. Morse code. Riker opened the feed. 3 words flashed, still holding. Barely he stared at the message. No fancy encryption. No long codes, just the truth. They're waiting for us, Zara said quietly. No, Riker said. They're hoping. He tapped a command. Drop the shadow. Target the lead command ship. Zara turned to him now. He nodded. The Valiant came to life. The stealth shell faded, and for the first time, the Nyx saw her a small, sharp vessel with curved armor and silent weapons pulsing blue. They didn't react right away. They didn't think one ship mattered. That was their mistake. Riker gave the order. Fire. The spike charge launched. It was small, almost invisible, but when it hit the Nix command ship, the entire fleet shimmered. Their shield network cracked, their sensor links failed, and then the Valiant disappeared again. One ship, one shot, and suddenly, the Nix were blind. Riker stood. Now we dance. And the war began. The Nix fleet panicked. 1 second, they were locked in perfect formation, shielded, armed, watching their prey from above. The next second, 3 of their command ships lost all control. Shields fell, power systems shut off. And then, explosions. Silent flashes in space. Bodies and metals spinning into the dark, but they never saw the attacker. From their own sensors, the threat didn't exist. One ship had fired. Now it was gone. Inside the Valiant, the lights glowed soft blue as the ship folded back into stealth. The crew worked fast. No shouting, no hesitation. They had trained for this kind of mission. Hit and vanish, strike and confuse. Riker stood in the middle of the bridge, watching the chaos unfold on the tactical screen. Red blips scattered across the map. Nix ships moving in all directions, confused, broken from their tight lines, coordination gone. They don't know. Where to aim, Zara said, a small smile on her face. Good, Riker replied. That means it's working. Deep under Helix Prime, Cato Lynn stared at his console. He could see the flashes in orbit, the signs of battle. But more importantly, he could hear something in the alien channels panic. The Nix were transmitting strange pulses, calling for backup, sending error codes. They weren't winning anymore. Something was breaking their system from the inside. Ilara Cato said, "They're falling apart." She came closer, still holding her rifle, her eyes tired but focused. "Is it the ship?" He nodded. "I think so. They're not just shooting, they're hacking the Nix, turning their own network into static." Ilara blinked. "With one ship. I don't know how, but yes. Then we give them more." "To chew on," she said. "Can you fake movement? Make it look like more of us are out there?" Cato's eyes lit up. "Yes. I'll spoof every heat signature I can, make them chase shadows. Do it." He smiled for the first time in days. Above the planet, the Valiant moved like smoke through space, silent, invisible. Riker watched as the Nix ships broke into small groups, scanning wild directions, firing into the void. Missiles wasted, energy beams cutting through nothing. "Right there." "Scared," Zara said. Riker nodded. "Keep us close to their sensor hubs. Every time we pass, overload 1. The ship turned, gliding across the battlefield like a ghost. Drones sent by the Nix flickered and died. Communication towers exploded without warning. Engines failed in mid-flight. The Valiant didn't just destroy, it confused. It rewrote the rules of space warfare. "They don't know how to fight what they can't see," Riker said. "They expect force, not precision." One of the junior officers called out, "Sir, we're picking up a heavy energy spike under Helix." Riker turned. From the planet. "Yes, deep underground. Not Nix. Something else." Zara frowned. "Could be natural, no," Riker said. "Not with those readings. Match it with anything in our archive." The officer typed quickly, then stopped. "Sir, it matches something from the old ruins on Delta Vega. Ancient power systems, alien design." Riker's eyes narrowed. The Nix aren't here just to destroy, they're looking for something. Zara looked at him. "Helix is built on top of it." Riker walked slowly back to the command chair. He sat down, thinking hard. This changed everything. If the Nix wanted that tech, and if humans were in the way, they wouldn't stop. "We hit harder," he said. "Make them think we already found whatever they're looking for." Zara smiled. "Make them panic?" Riker nodded. "Exactly." He opened the ship-wide channel. "All teams, begin Phase 2. Drop signal ghosts, fake power bursts. Want them to believe we've already taken their prize." A ripple of confirmation moved. Across the bridge, the crew worked quickly. Machines hummed. And across the Nix fleet, more ships began to fail. Suddenly, the enemy that had arrived in silence now shouted in confusion, trying to regroup, trying to understand. But Riker wasn't done. "Target the dreadnought," he said. "It's time to cut off the head." The main Nyx dreadnought sat in orbit, unmoving, larger than the others, covered in armor. Riker knew it was the brain of the entire attack. He smiled coldly. "They made one mistake," he whispered. "They thought one human ship wouldn't matter." The Valiant changed course and vanished again. The dreadnought didn't see death coming, but it was on the way. Helix Prime trembled again. Dust rained from the ceiling as Cato Lynn clung to the edge of the terminal, his fingers flying across the keys. Emergency lights flickered. The enemy hadn't hit the station directly this time. The shaking was coming from deep below. Something was moving under them. "Alara," Cato said, his voice tight. "That signal's not natural." I traced it again. "There's a power surge. Under sublevel 9, stronger than our reactors." Alara stood behind him, weapons slung over her shoulder. Could it be Nyx tech? Cato shook his head. "No, it's old. Like really old. Pre-human. But it's waking up." Large screen. Blinked. Strange symbols began appearing curved, glowing blue letters that translated themselves without being asked. Alara frowned. "What's that mean?" The message scrolled slowly across the screen. "You are not the first, but you may be the last Catos." Mouth went dry. "It knows we're here." Alara stepped back. "Get everyone out of sublevel 9. Now." Across the station, alarms began to ring.
This time they weren't from damage?
The alert came from inside the system, as if the station itself had decided to speak. Underneath Helix Prime, it's buried beneath decades of rock and steel. Something ancient began to open. Massive metal doors creaked apart, untouched by time. Inside, pale blue light pulsed, soft and slow, like a heartbeat. The walls were covered in symbols, not like anything human or Nyx. The air shimmered, like smoke. Alara and Cato reached the vault just as it fully opened. 3 soldiers stood guard. Weapons raised, but no enemy came out. It just silenced then. The voice, it wasn't heard. It was felt a whisper in the back of the mind. "You called, there's heard, but you touched the old wound. They come to take it.
Out.
Will you protect?" Alara stepped forward. "Who are you?" The light pulsed again. "Watcher, architect. We came before. You built your skies, left your bones. We sealed this place. You opened it. Now they smell it." Cato swallowed hard. "It means the Nyx, right?" The answer was simple. "Yes." Ella turned to her team. "Get the rest of the crew topside. Seal this vault again." But the light pulsed once more. "Too late. They're coming. For this, not for you." Suddenly sirens blared. Multiple landing signatures, one of the soldiers called. "They're dropping troops." Lara looked at Cato. "They want what's under here." Cato's voice was quiet. "What if we deny them?" Lara nodded. "That's the idea." High above, the Valiant moved fast and silent. "Captain Riker." Cade watched the dreadnought appear on screen. Massive, slow, and deadly. "All weapon systems live," Zara said. Riker gave the order. "Don't fire to destroy, fire to scare. Let them feel hunted." The ship emerged from cloak just for a second. A bolt of energy hit the dreadnought's forward shields. Sparks exploded. The Nyx ships turned, confused. Searching the black dot, then the Valiant vanished again. They fired blindly and hit nothing. Back on Helix, Nyx landing craft pierced the sky. Alara and her crew opened fire. Explosions shook the walkways as black-armored. Aliens stormed through the corridors. Cato ran with a data pad in his hands, ducking behind fallen walls. "We can't hold them here forever. It's just long enough," Alara shouted. The vault behind them began pulsing faster. "If they take this, they will learn too much. Then help us stop them," Lara yelled. "I cannot fight. I am not weapon. I am memory. But I can hide again, if you choose." "At a cost." "What cost?" "You will lose me. The last of the first. Your chance to learn." Alara looked at Cato. "Can we store anything?" He nodded slowly. One file. Maybe a single memory string. Then, pick the most important one and seal it. Outside, Nick's soldiers pushed closer. Inside, the vault began to glow and then faded. The metal shifted, closed, vanished like mist. The light was gone, but the message remained. Helix had touched something ancient. Now, all sides wanted it. The Valiant circled again. Riker listened as Zara spoke. Vault sealed.
Belt?
Keep coming. Riker stared at the enemy ships. Then we make them believe we already took it. He turned to the crew. They came for a secret. He smiled. Let's give them a lie they'll never forget. Captain Riker Cade stood on the bridge of the Valiant, watching the red storm swirl across the tactical screen. The Nix dreadnought was damaged, but still alive. Dozens of Nix ships were regrouping. They were angry now, no longer calm predators. They were hunting. Phase 2 is complete, Zara said, sweat on her brow. We faked multiple energy signatures coming from the vault. If they believe we took something, ... they'll go all in.
They already are, Riker muttered. Below.
Them Helix Prime was under siege. The Nix had begun dropping more troops. Swarms of landing craft broke through the atmosphere, heading straight for the vault. But the vault was sealed, hidden again. They didn't know it was already gone, or almost gone. Riker opened the channel to Helix. Elar's voice came through. Static crackling. Gunfire echoed in the background. We've sealed the ancient chamber. It's gone now. Just rubble and tricks. You still holding? Riker asked. Barely. We've pulled all survivors to the central core. Cato's injured, but alive. We're not done yet, Riker said. He ended the call and looked at Zara. We can't win this forever. Zara stared at the screen. Then let's finish it fast. Options. She hesitated. Voss has one. But it's dangerous. Riker raised an eyebrow. I'm listening. Zara tapped the display. If we vent our main reactor's plasma core directly into the shadow drive, we might create a short-range space rupture. It would burn out most of the surrounding ships. Could cripple the dreadnought too? What's the catch? It could also destroy us. Riker turned to the engineer, Voss, who was already watching from the lower deck. 30% chance we survive, Voss said simply. But it'll fry half the Nix. Riker didn't speak for a moment. Then he nodded. Do it. The crew froze. Captain Zara said slowly, This is suicide. Riker looked out the front viewport. Nix ships moved like shadows, tightening. The ring around Helix. If we don't do this, they take the planet. They take the vault. And maybe the whole galaxy burns next. Zara looked down. Then she nodded once. Voss disappeared toward engineering. I'll start the prep. Alarms began to sound across the ship. Every crew member knew what was coming. Some whispered to each other. Some stared ahead with blank eyes, but no one ran. No one refused. They were the Valiant. This was what they were built for. Down below, Lara was helping a wounded soldier crawl behind cover when her cum crackled again. Helix, this is the Valiant. We're making our final move. You have 3 minutes to brace.
Nice.
What are you
doing? She asked, panic rising. Ending this? She looked at the sky. A single silver line streaked above, then vanished again. Riker, she said softly, you don't have to do this. His voice was calm. Yes, I do. In the engine? Room Voss counted down. 3, 2, 1 venting plasma now. The ship shook. Lights flickered. Low roar filled every hallway. The shadow drive began to glow on the surface. The Nix paused. They felt something. The sky above them opened just for a second, like the stars had caught fire. Then, a silent blast ripped through space. A wave of light and force expanded from the Valiant, slamming into nearby ships. Shields broke. Metal twisted. Dozens of Nix vessels spun out of control. Smaller crafts vanished into nothing. The dreadnought's spine cracked down the middle, on Helix Prime. The ground shook as explosions tore through the sky. Inside the central bunker, Alara held Cato close. shielding him as dust fell from the ceiling. Did it work? He asked weakly. Alara didn't know, but she hoped. Up above, the Valiant drifted in silence. Smoke curled from its engines. Power flickered. Systems failed, one by one. Riker sat in the captain's chair, blood running from his forehead. From the ceiling? Damage? He asked. Zara coughed. Half the ship's gone. Engines are offline. Weapons too. But are we alive? Somehow Riker exhaled. Good. The tactical screen lit up one more time. Nick's ships. What was? Left of them were turning. Pulling back, fleeing, they were done. And Riker smiled, even through the pain. Let them run, he said. We already won. Then he slumped forward as the ship floated through the dark. Still burning, but still alive. Asterisk, the battle was over. But the sky wasn't calm. Not yet. Captain Riker Cade sat strapped into his chair on the bridge of the Valiant, barely conscious. Sparks dropped from the ceiling. Half the lights were out. The main screen flickered with static. Zara wiped blood. From her forehead, engines are gone. Life support's holding on backup. We're just floating now. Riker gave a weak smile. But they're running, right? Zara checked the screen. Yeah. What's left of the Nyx fleet is leaving orbit. We broke them. He closed his eyes for a moment. Tell Alara. Tell Helix they're safe. Zara tried to send the message, but the system beeped. Strange. There's interference. Something new. Big. Riker looked at her. More Nyx. No, she said. It's not them. In space, beyond where the battle had just ended, something moved. A shadow darker than the stars. A ship, but not like anything human or Nyx. It didn't arrive with sound. It didn't appear with light. It simply was one moment not there, the next moment present. Then another one followed. And another. 3 massive vessels shaped like smooth stone, glowing softly at the edges. Zara stared in shock. They're alive. On Helix Prime, Cato opened his eyes. His head ached, but he felt something like a voice inside his bones. He sat up slowly, still bandaged, and looked at the wall panel beside his bed. It was flashing. Not with a warning, but with a pattern. Symbols. Glowing white. Familiar and strange at the same time. Ilara. He called. She entered the room quickly. Rifle still slung over her shoulder. It's the architects, he said. I think they've come. Her eyes widened. The ones from the vault? He nodded. Yes, they saw the Nyx coming. They saw us open the vault. Now they're here. Are they enemies? I don't know, Cato said softly. But I think they're older than both of us combined. It's older than Earth. Maybe older than the Nyx, too. A sudden tremor shook the station. Outside, one of the living ships sent a pulse of light toward the sky. The remaining Nyx ships, even the largest ones, began to crack. Not explode. Just come apart. Clean and quiet, like a puzzle falling out of shape. On the Valiant. Riker and his crew watched in stunned silence. They're tearing the Nyx apart, Zara said. Effortlessly, Riker whispered. They weren't here for us. They were watching them. The main screen blinked. Then the architect ship sent a message. Not through sound, not through tech. It was inside Riker's mind, clear. Gom deep. You opened what was sealed. You drew blood. You drew fire. Now we come. He gripped the sides of his chair. Who are you? We were first. We built. We buried. Now we remember. Zara clutched her head. They're in my mind too. Like a voice I've always known, but forgot. The Nyx are broken. But others will come, Riker asked. Why help us? You protected the vault. You chose others over power. That is rare. We see you. We warn us about what? There. It was a pause. Then came the answer. This is not the end. It is the door. Back on Helix, Cato saw the same words glowing on every screen. This is not the end. It is the door. Ilara stood by the window, watching the sky. The giant ships pulsed again. Then slowly, without sound or trail. They vanished. Gone. Not a single trace left behind, Cato whispered. They could destroy us if they wanted to. Ilara nodded, but they didn't. A calm silence followed, the first true quiet since the siege began. Then the cum crackled. "This is the Valiant. Helix, do you read?" Ilara ran to respond. "We read you. Are you alive?" Zara answered. "Barely, but we're here, and the Nyx. Gone," Zara said. "All gone. But there's more out there. Something bigger. We saw it." Ilara looked at Cato. He nodded. "Double quotes, we know," she said. "We saw it too." The war was over, but the stars no longer felt empty. They felt watched, and not by enemies, by something older, something waiting. 3 days passed. Helix Prime was quiet now. The sky was clear. No more black ships. No more flashing weapons. No more shaking walls. The air finally felt safe to breathe.
Ow!
Inside the main control tower, Commander Ilara Miles stood by the window. Watching as Earth rescue ships arrived in waves, they brought medics, engineers, and supplies. Life was returning to the station, one small step at a time. Cato Lin sat beside her, his arm in a sling, face still pale but smiling. "They actually came," he said softly. "After all that, Earth came." Ilara nodded. They heard the message. They saw what we stood for. He leaned back in his chair. "I was starting to believe no one would come, that we'd be forgotten." Ilara looked at him. "You weren't wrong to feel that, but you were wrong to give up. You helped save everyone, Cato." He looked down, then smiled again. "We saved each other." Above them, the Valiant floated in orbit, battered, scorched, but alive. It had taken a full day to stabilize the ship. Power had returned slowly, systems restored one by one. The crew had survived, bruised and tired, but proud.
Captain Riker.
Cade stood on the bridge again, watching Earth's fleet arrive. New ships, stronger ones. Ships that had never seen battle, but would now be ready. Zara joined him. "Looks like Earth took the message seriously." "They had to," Riker said. "We made sure of that." Zara smiled. "And they're sending a full science team to study the vault ruins." "Let them," Riker replied. "Just make sure they don't dig too deep." She was quiet for a moment. "Do you think the architects will come back?" He looked at the stars. "Never left. They're watching. Maybe always have." Down on Helix, Ilara stepped into the open plaza where people were rebuilding damaged walls. Children laughed nearby. K-Medic team set up a tent, handing out water and food. Colonel Briggs from Earth's Defense Force approached her with a tablet. In hand, he saluted. "You're being recommended for command promotion," he said. "What you did here, it wasn't just brave. It changed everything." Ilara raised an eyebrow. "What's changing?" Briggs handed her the tablet. "Earth is forming a new defense network. Faster ships, more outposts. We're not waiting anymore. We'll be ready." She glanced at the screen. "Is the Valiant going home?" Briggs shook his head. "Staying. Riker requested it. He wants to keep watch from out here." Ilara nodded. "He's smart. He knows this isn't over."
Briggs lowered his voice.
The Nyx left quickly. Too quickly. "We think they're regrouping. And the architects? They left a message in our systems," he said. "A single line." She tilted her head. "What did it say?" He showed her the screen. "The second storm will not ask. Will take." Ilara felt a chill in her chest. Back on the Valiant, Riker sat alone in his quarters, reading reports. One file showed pictures from deep sensors, Nyx ships gathering again, far beyond explored space. Another showed the vault on Helix, now sealed under tons of rock. Then he opened a hidden file. It was the one Cato had saved, the single memory left from the vault before it vanished. It wasn't a map. It wasn't a weapon. It was a vision. A memory of a galaxy long ago, filled with many species, many empires. All destroyed, not by war, but by something waking, something old, something that fed on conflict. Riker closed the file. He stood up and walked to the bridge. "Zara," he said, "get me a line to Earth Command." Secured, she replied. What do you want to say? He looked at the stars. Tell them we need more than weapons, he said. We need unity. We need speed. We need to remember what happened here. And if they don't listen, they will, he said. They looked at him. What makes you so sure? He smiled, tired but calm. Because they know now what happens when humanity is underestimated. Zara leaned back. So, what now, Captain? Riker looked out the viewport. Now we prepare. He paused, and we wait. The stars were still beautiful, calm, distant, silent. But everyone on Helix Prime knew the truth now. They weren't alone. The war they fought wasn't just for a station, or a secret, or survival. It was the first move. In something much bigger. Something watching. Something waiting. But next time, humanity would be ready.